President, the last 4 years, the world experienced a total lack of zero leadership under Biden. And then we've had 100 days of your leadership with respect, with strength, starting with there'll be all hell to pay if you don't let our people go. Dozens, over 40 Americans have come home under your leadership. Far more terrorists are no longer threatening the homeland under your leadership, pulling all of these agencies together, including the evil individual responsible for the Abbey Gate bombing. Pulling this great team together, Mr. President, everything from revitalizing shipyards to cyber to space, that takes this entire team working together. It's an honor to serve you in this administration, and I think the world is far better, far safer for it.
Trump's national security advisor, Mike Waltz, did all that ass-kissing in front of cameras on Wednesday, only to get this in return.
All right, there's a breaking news that happened in the commercial break. So what you're looking at photographs right now of Michael Waltz. He is the president's national security advisor, except for we just got news that he is going to be leaving the administration along with his deputy, Alex Wong. Of course, if you might remember the story of Signalgate. I don't know if that's for a particular reason, but there was some consternation among some people about Mike Waltz, who you might remember was a congressman, Green Beret, a long history and career in foreign policy.
Well, damn, that's embarrassing. What's even more embarrassing is that he went on Fox News early on the same day of the announcement of his firing to kiss Trump and Pete Hegseth's ass.
Just, Brian, I'm so excited about this. This is leadership at its finest, led by our commander-in-chief who loves the troops and they love him. Secretary Hegseth leading from the front. Secretary Driscoll, Army Secretary, that you had on earlier. I mean, again, we're 100 days in, and they are talking about modernizing the Army, counter-drone, electronic warfare, getting our troops the things they need rapidly, cutting through the bureaucracy, consolidating a lot of these commands and headquarters that we don't need. They are all gas. Brian, and this is exactly what our modern force needs as it moves out of those protracted Middle East wars to deal with the modern warfare that we're seeing, from space to cyberspace to drones to missiles. All of those in the hands of our warfighter now.
It was speculated on Fox News that his direct involvement in accidentally exposing the administration's use of the Signal app to share classified information about strategic strikes in Yemen got his ass booted. But it took weeks after the president and the crew tried to brush it under the rug.
How did a Trump-hating editor of The Atlantic end up on your Signal chat?
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links to lie and smear the president of the United States, and he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
He brainlessly tried blaming the random reporter from The Atlantic that he added to the group chat, but even Laura Ingraham couldn't find a way to believe that bull explanation.
But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how this happened.
So you don't know what staffer is responsible for this right now?
Well, look, a staffer wasn't responsible, and look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did the number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number? Have you
ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now, whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
So your staffer did not put his contact information.
No,
but how did it end up in your
that's
phone?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, but that's a pretty big problem.
That's what we've got the best technical minds, right?
None of it was adding up. He even tried pitching his nonsensical excuses for it in front of Trump, hoping the president's perpetual cloak of lies would shield him from any follow-up questions the way that it works for him.
I think it's something you should look into.
Yes, sir, we are. We have our technical experts looking at it. We have our legal teams looking at it. And of course, we're going to keep everything as secure as possible. No one in your national security team would ever put anyone in danger. And as you've said, and we've repeatedly said, the attack was phenomenal and it's ongoing. But the media wants to talk about everything else except for the hostages you're getting out of the Middle East, Iran on its back foot, sea lanes getting reopened, peace in Europe. The lesson is there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves, making up lies about this president, whether it's the Russia hoax or making up lies about Gold Star families. And this one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor. Under Biden, global shipping was shut down.
The standard MAGA deflection tactic of blaming the media while praising Donald Trump only pushed the story back for a couple of days. And now that it's been over a month, Trump loyalist and right-wing agitator Laura Loomer had a meeting with Trump. Here she is explaining in bigoted terms how she revealed what Mike Waltz wouldn't reveal.
Alex Wong is the Deputy National Security Advisor serving under Michael Waltz. He is also an assistant to President Donald Trump. And if you're following my reports, then you'll see that Alex Wong is one of the individuals who was in this Signal chat that Michael Waltz is now taking responsibility for setting up. But if you look at the Signal messages, it clearly says that, oh, Alex Wong is my deputy and I put him in charge with making sure that everybody gets in this chat. Here's the tweet I posted the other day, in case you haven't seen it. Alex Wong, he's Chinese, by the way, so I don't really know who's doing the vetting. Again, all I know is that I'm not doing the vetting, okay? All I know is that I'm not responsible for the vetting of the Trump administration, because if I was involved in vetting, things like this would not be happening. Okay. So again, I don't know why we have Chinese individuals in positions of national security in the Trump administration. Maybe that's a question for Michael Waltz. I don't know, but it's concerning. It's definitely very concerning. Alex Wong, the Chinese Deputy National Security Advisor appointed by President Trump, who is at the center of the Signalgate scandal, is married to U.S. Attorney Candace Chu Wong, a Chinese woman who is one of the key attorneys involved in prosecuting J6ers. Alex Wong was appointed by President Trump on 11/22/2024 to serve as the assistant to the president and the principal deputy national security advisor under Mike Waltz, the newly appointed U.S. National Security Advisor. I have discovered that Alex's wife, Candace Chu Wong, worked under the Obama administration and the Biden administration as an assistant United States attorney in the United States Attorney's Office, for the District of Columbia, where she led the violence reduction and trafficking offenses section for more than 2 years. So you have to ask yourself, why do we have an individual serving in the Trump administration? You know, they're trying to walk this back now and say, oh, you know, she was only involved in a couple cases. You know, she didn't really go after a lot of J6ers, but she was appointed underneath the Obama administration and the Biden administration. To work within those administrations, you obviously have to be ideologically simpatico, right? You have to have some kind of an allegiance. And so now you have all these people. You have Mike Davis, you have Senator Tom Cotton, you have individuals now running cover for Alex Wong and his wife, Candace. And the reality is the receipts don't lie. Okay? She served under the Biden administration. She served under the Obama administration. And whether she wants to, you know, try to justify it or make excuses for why she was working with prosecutors at the Biden DOJ to go after January 6ers, right? There's always an excuse.
Okay, so according to Laura Loomer, Mike Waltz foolishly trusted Deputy National Security Advisor Alex Wong, who's married to a U.S. attorney that was around when Trump's foot soldiers ran into the Capitol to murder lawmakers. And because up is down and left is right in the MAGA world, the attorney is the bad guy. And her bloodthirst boiled over into her husband's work with Mike Waltz, resulting in the Atlantic reporter being added to the infamous Signal chat. All that, but they still won't acknowledge the biggest problem of the Trump administration sharing classified information over this app. They're just firing whoever accidentally exposed them.
Just before we came on, I literally got a text from Laura Loomer saying, Loomered. I mean,
A verb.
a verb.
So
Now a
she's-
verb.
But she's verbing herself?
She's verbing herself.
Okay.
Yes.